Yeah.
Alright. Okay, we'll look at this one. Alright, I guess before I get straight into it, I want to like a little bit more additional context. So, why this game? What basically happened? I mean, because it's very short here because you get first health, but basically, why this game?
So basically, well, most of this game, I was a bit confused on like why I kept dying.
Okay.
So it's a thing that happens a lot to me. So sometimes I play really well, I think, and then the next round or just a bit after I just keep dying and I can't really figure out why I die.
Right. Well, I'm looking at the enemy comp, and I was going to mention this. Normally, I give like a little bit at the beginning about what I generally look for, and I guess with Genji in this example here, when into that comp, there's not really a clear dive target, and B, their comp generally has a ton of poke damage, and that's fine. But it means that your pathing on Genji or the paths that you take are really important. Because your ability to sort of get on top of the Torbjorn or even the Kiriko, even the Mercy, and avoid the pharmacy as well is really important. If you're poking from like 30 meters away out in the open and you're not syncing up your dives, you're not in a position to sync up your dives with your Winston. That's gonna can become really problematic. So your pathing is really important against the enemy comp because what they're really playing for is to stop or prevent your dives to begin with, or again to poke you out to stop you from being able to dive from the get go. Your pathing is really important. Of course, there's a lot of micro, or there's a decent amount of micro to mention here as well. So of course, breaking the top turret is important. As well as again just making sure that your timing's fairly decent as well, and some dash deflect micro. So again, are you deflecting at the correct time? Are we deflecting too early? Where are we dashing to? Have we got a good have we got a good escape path to deflect? Stuff like that is important. So we'll get into the micro as well, but we'll
Yeah.
see how this pans out because you do die here 4 times on attack. But yeah, all right. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so we're poking. Okay, okay. Okay, so like this entire time, right? Like I know your brick just dies immediately from. There's not really much what you could do about your brick dying here, but what's the issue? What do you not do this entire time?
Well, I don't really close the distance between me and the enemies, I think.
Right. So like if I go top down and like if I'm the enemy team, right, and I'm looking at I'm looking at what your team's doing right now. I'm actually very happy with all of you guys just standing down main down this long narrow angle, right? Well, why is that? Well, my father's got a great angle, or she can just spam out my Winston or the brick or you even. The top can just spam out as well, and the Kiri's got a good angle to spam out here as well, right? So they're all just spamming down this choke. You spamming out initially is fine. Again, you don't know the comp that they're running out on, and there's not really much else to do rather than just spam up from the first few seconds of the rounds. But what could you do here instead, or when could you move, and where could you move to as well?
So I think that maybe like the left side is definitely an option because I know that someone is up there, so I could
Right.
try and take advantage of that.
So you can see the Kiriko healing from the left side, right? And you look at this angle here, or you look at okay, if you go left side here, who can really stop you? Well, it's literally just the Kiriko. That's literally just it. And even if she peeks left side here and starts firing kunais your way while you're trying to walk up, there's micro you can do to fix that. Right? Well, there's two or three things about that. The first thing is that she shouldn't know that you're coming left side. Right? And this is actually really important when it comes to being unscouted on Genji. Normally, at the beginning of a fight, there'll be the skirmish phase. Well, you'll be poking the enemy team, and they'll be poking you, and you'll be going back and forth and whatnot. This is kind of that phase right now, and there's always a phase during when you're skirmishing the enemy team where you have to duck into cover to reload or to get HP back or to get cooldowns back or whatever the case may be. It's that time when you need to duck back into cover that's really important to utilize because then you can stay unscouted. And this Kiriko, obviously, you can see her healing her entire team, but she cannot see you. She probably doesn't even know that you're on Genji here at all. And you can, as a result, flank left side, and she's probably not going to know that you're coming here at all, because how would she know? Right? She can't physically see you when you're skirmishing. Using that like unscattered bit when you're coming back into cover, or you're ducking back into cover, or when you're reloading is really useful. The second thing to mention onto that too is does the Kiriko, if you're walking up here and you're coming up here, does the Kiriko want to peek you or come closer?
Well, probably not. No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, she has to first of all focus on healing her team, but also
Yeah.
like close quarter fight against Genji probably wouldn't be the best for her.
Yeah, but because you're in your dash is 15 meters. The second you close the distance, again, it's very scary for the Kiriko to come and peek this while you're walking over here in the meantime, right? I mean, she can if she wants to, right? But it's gonna be a mechanical gambit for her to hit her shots, and again, prevent you from being able to dive on top of her in the first place. That's kind of the second thing as well. But there's really those two things combined with the fact that again you're predominantly unscouted. That means that you should really looking to go here from the get-go. There's really no excuse for not being going left side here at all. This really just looks like you're autopiloting the entire time. And a comment I get a lot is when people flank on, I guess not just Overwatch, but when people flank in general on any character, it doesn't have to be Genji in this case. They feel that, oh well, I don't want my team to die while I'm flanking, or I'm not poking when I'm flanking, or I'm not doing enough, basically, right, or whatever the case may be. I guess there's two things to say to that. The first thing is when you can actually poke slightly when you're rotating. Obviously, when you're unscouted, you will not be poking during that period of time, right? Secondly, there's no other option, right? You cannot outpoke the enemy team. Again, look at their comp. There's no other option but to flank around and to take a different angle here, right? In fact, I wouldn't even mind you going right side here and you going over here, because again, how can they stop you? They just physically can't, right? Only Torb can really like mark you in this area, but even then, right? Like the worst case scenario, you end up dueling a Torb on this angle, and you force out his overload. You deflect away, and you're forced to leave it and give up some space because again, you're not getting support on the angle here. That's completely fine, right? Because maybe you pulling this Torb away means that your Brig lives, or means that your Brig's able to live in the front following a little bit more. And I'd even make an argument that, hey, maybe there's a possibility you're dashing up to this high ground here, getting the mega, and then keeping this angle here, and you got a really good angle to stay behind the enemy team, basically. But yeah, either side here would be a lot more conducive to your character than going down main, sadly. Yeah. I've got a saying, whenever you've got more mobility than the enemy team, it's really important that you use it. It's there for a reason. Otherwise, you might as well just play, I don't know, Widowmaker or something and stay down on the main angle and look for a pick. But yeah, bit of a missed opportunity there. Okay. Okay, sure. Don't know what that part was doing, but sure. Fine, dash away, sure. Fine. Cool. And I might be picking this, of course, to deny res, so I'm fine with this. Okay. Okay. Talk about this, yeah. So like, this is really important again, right? We're like, why are we poking from here? Why are we staying here for so long? You know, like we just got the father's dead here, so we're in a 5v4 to begin with. Secondly, this is fine for scouting, right? So peeking this angle's fine. We don't know where the enemy team's at. Sure, we want a little bit of scouting information, right? Can you reach the Torb or the Mercy from here?
No.
No, you cannot, right? So either leave this angle entirely, like just literally just S-key out, and then just play wider and outmaneuver the Torb. And in fact, this is a really important idea that I'll just make in a moment. Or, if you do want to zone the backline here, sure, you can, right? There is a possibility where you can dash onto the enemy Torbjorn, deflect out, and create a little bit of space for your team. But I'd be okay with doing that if the Doom's going in and he's alone and your team's pushing up here as well, right? So I wouldn't be that mad had you done that. But poking here is just so bad because, like, of course we're going to get domed by the Torbjorn, right? Who wins at this? A pocket the Torbjorn or you, right? Obviously the Torbjorn from this distance. And it's a really important idea when you're staging as Genji, which is learning to not fight or to leave a certain angle and to fight another day or to live another day. And this is a really important again example of it here. But like, of course, we're at a disadvantage by staying on this angle, so leave, right? S key out and take a different angle here, right? What caused you
Yeah.
to stay on this angle?
Uh, I was so whenever I'm playing to Torb, I got this feeling that his turret is my number one priority because I feel like I can't do anything if his turret is up. So I usually
Right,
just try to kill it as quickly as possible. And
right. I mean, what it's Titus literally doing nothing, right? Is I guess the point, you know? Like, if you can break Torb while staying safe, then sure, right? But of course,
yeah,
you're having to peek into a pocket of Torbjorn the entire time to do this, right? And the Titus is doing nothing. The Titus does what, 44 DPS. It is barely anything, right? No one on your team really cares about Turret that much. Turret is only really that impactful if you're playing if you're playing a comp that literally has zero range and cannot break it at all. So like you're playing Genji Tracer with like, God, Brig Juno can't really break it that well. Lucio Kiri can actually break it. You're playing like Doom Tracer, like Brig Juno, just a comp that really has zero range and cannot break Torbjorn turret, then sure, right? Maybe then it's your responsibility to break that turret yourself, right? But on the same hand here as well, it's also your responsibility to not get poked out by Torb as well. And this is again, I kind of saw this and I was like, how are you not dying here immediately, right? And of course, you end up dying here immediately as a result. Which is not great because you're in a 5v4 here, or you were in a 5v4. You had a clear advantage. I just saw your D.Va right now, just boosted onto the enemy Kiriko. And it would have been quite nice for you to obviously be here with the D.Va and go onto the Kiriko, right? And the whole point of this, by the way, the whole point of outmaneuvering, I guess the Torbjorn in this case, right? But not just the Torbjorn, the whole point of outmaneuvering the enemy team is that you'll force people like the Kiriko to clump up with her team. And once they start clumping up, then you can look to go for your nice dash, deflect out, engage, right? Something like that. And they lose all the map space once they start clumping up, right? But of course, you dying there is a big benefit or a big sort of boon that you give to the enemy team, sadly. So the main mistake there was just that we tunnel way too hard on turret for absolutely no reason. And we forget that, hey, we're playing into a comp where they really want us to poke them from distance. But yeah, not outmaneuver them. It's really unfortunate. Okay. We'll see here. Okay. Good. Better. Okay. Sure. Right, and this is we're seeing pretty much the exact sort of hypothetical that we drew out first fight, basically coming to fruition here. Kiriko tries to PQ, realizes that she doesn't want any of that smoke because you can actually do a lot of damage to her from the sort of distance there. Of course, Pharah being here is the only slight difference, so be a little bit careful. You don't want to probably don't want to dash in and deflect out because Pharah can chase you. But you being here is really important. Okay, nice. Okay, and you didn't even do that much, right? But by virtue of you being here, you will force the Pharah to dash away, which happened. You'll force the Kiriko to leave, which happens. And then again, look at the Torb and look at the Doomfist fight. You know, is this guy doing anything to what your team's doing here by pushing the high grounds?
yeah, no, nothing at all.
Doing literally fuck all. Is the Tart doing anything? Of course, the Tart's doing fuck all, right? Like this is the point. This would have been nice to see in the last fights. But hey, I guess better late than never. Sure. Fine. Good. Right. Deep peeking the Torb, just punishing the Doomfist. That's perfectly fine. Sure. Fine. Sure. Yeah, nothing crazy, right? I think that's a fair argument that, hey, you could have gone here instead, right, and start punishing the Torbjorn on the Kiriko instead. I think I would have been fine if you did that as well. I'm also cool with you forcing out Doomfist as well. So nothing crazy. Okay. Sure. Was this gonna boost plan on your team, or was this a?
No, it was the random. My duo is Winter, it's the Sojourn.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Sure. Okay. So like I see this a lot with Genjis, okay, and I'm gonna have to draw a graph here because I see it all the time. Because this is the second time that we're in a 5v4 and we die first as a result. Second time in a row. There's a graph I always like using, and this is really important. Either when when you're in 5v4s, right? But I also use this graph when you have an advantage. Or basically, your players will either do nothing when they're in a 5v4, or they'll AFK, or they'll int and they'll feed their brains out in a 5v4. And there's this really happy medium in between, right over here, which I call pushing slowly, or doing it in a way that's like low risk, or in a cautious manner. And the reason why this is so important is in a 5v4, if you're the enemy team, right, and you realize that you're down 1, what do you want to do if you're in a 4v5? What are your options generally?
Well, I had to push with my team because we're one more, so we'll do more damage and we'll have a greater chance of doing something.
What in a 4v5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so usually in a 4v5, right, you'll have to play fast because you're down 1. Right? If you play slow, you will lose the battle over time because you are just down a person. You're down a person worth of resources. So usually playing fast makes sense. So if I go onto the enemy team's POV here, right, the second that you kill this, we'll talk about the fix this too. The second you kill that Torbjorn, right, the entire enemy team is going to try and trade you out as fast as they can and as much and as hard as they can, which is exactly what's happening here. So normally in a 5v4, what I tell, but in this case after you kill the Torbjorn, it's really important that you regain awareness, and I say this to Genji players all the time, or Tracer players too. This applies to Tracer as well. Regain awareness. Now, all this means is that literally you look around. That's literally all this means, because you're probably tunneled on getting more kills when you're nano boosted and after you kill the Torbjorn. You probably there's a little bit of dopamine running through your head about, hey, I'm gonna kill everyone on the enemy team because I just killed their Torbjorn and I'm playing into a squishy backline. I'm just going to kill everyone. Sometimes that won't be the case, and sometimes that's too risky to do. So looking around or having that awareness to look around is really important. And there's like 3 steps, or there's like 3 layers I say that can cause you that practically to look around, or 3 visual cues, right? The first one is getting a kill, right? So after a kill, you look around, or after an event or action, this one's a bit vague, also look around, right? And then after a cooldown or an ult, usually a cooldown like dash or deflect, then you also look around. And the reason I say this is that you want to get into the habit of where after you get a kill, it should not alarm bells, right? But you should be thinking, well, after you get a kill, am I tradable? Am I killable? Can I get another kill here? How fast can I play? Should I be chillaxing or should I be playing a little bit slow here, right? And in actuality, if I go back to your POV, go back here after you kill Torbjorn, right? You've got no dash anymore. You haven't got dash anymore here, right? So right now, you should really be chillaxing, right? Especially after you kill the Torbjorn, and hell, even after you kill the Torbjorn, your dash resets it, right? And I'd even make an argument where, hey, we kill Torbjorn here, we can chill, we can chillax, we can look around, right? Because we are so quick on the dash that the Mercy dodges it, right? But if we take a little bit of time, just look around us and actually play our advantage well and not give this advantage away, we can just live and play to live, and hell, get a better dash here that actually connects onto the Pharah, or actually connects onto the Kiriko or the Mercy, right? But this is like, we think we're proper, basically. We're trying to do our best proper cosplay and get a chain kill immediately after we get the Torbjorn. And it's like, no, we don't need to do that, right? We can play slow, chillax, look around us, and then assess whether we can dash in again, right? And in this case, yeah, you can dash in again, right? Because this person's half HP. You dash into the Kiriko, she will die, and you'll get another kill, which is the irony of this entire thing. Is that if you want to get more kills, you play slower, and you chillax, and you look around. You don't play off of instinct. At least not all the time, right? At least not now, where again, after you get that kill, you need to just chillax, be more aware. of what's going on around you. But yeah, that's the key thing I say, because people, especially trace players, will always do this as well. They'll get a kill and they'll think that they're proper and they'll try and blink in and get another kill, but they'll just die immediately, or they'll get their reforced out and they'll give up their advantage away immediately. You know? It's really the enemy team on the back foot, right? If you live this, how on earth are the enemy team going to win this fight if you live this, right? They're just not going to win it. They have to wait for the turbulent to come back. In which case, you play slow, you force point, and then you get a big advantage for the point pressure too. So, yeah, you just play way too fast, way too kill greedy. Alright, it was really unfortunate because that Kiriko could have just died if you just took a half second of time to think or assess your situation.
Right.
Okay. Let's see here. Honestly, that's probably the biggest way you lose this fight, because if you kill that Kiriko, you're in a 5v3. There's just no way that the enemy team win that fight. But yeah. Okay. Alright. I guess the slightly good news is that you've got Blade. But yeah, we'll see how this Blade pans out. Okay. Poking. Poking is fine. They're not gonna hold this close, so I don't fully mind this. Sure. Okay, now I start thinking about pathing around a little bit more. Sure. Fine. Okay. The really early barrage. Yeah, not much you can do about this. Your pathing here is fine. I'm not saying there's not really much you can do about the barrage here, to be honest. This is fine. Sure. Yeah, leave. Fine. Traits are important, so they can't hold close. Fine. Death is not gonna matter that much. Your team just dies to barrage. You don't die here. Okay, good. Fine. Ash Mercy. Sure. Sure. Okay, yeah, nothing crazy there. Okay. I guess the key thing there with that entire fight is, if they're holding really, really close, which they were, right? They were holding, Farah was holding somewhere around here with their Doomfist. Doomfist was playing in this room. This also applies to your Sojourn as well, but again applies to you. Ideally, you don't fight this if you can't clear the Doom or the Farah, which you didn't, right? Like, you played distance. You couldn't have been cleared here at all, right? And then you just walked up slowly. When they were engaging, you got the Kiriko kill, and then came behind, got the chain kill into the Farah. Yeah, you'd have completely fine there, right? Doing this kind of thing when they're trying to push really, really hard, this is often called chasing the tail, as some coaches are calling it. Which you did, right? All chasing the tail really means is that you chase their backline while their entire team then chase their backline, basically. That's really it. So no real complaints to that fight. Your timing was fine. TDs were fine there. Nothing crazy. Yeah. Okay. This fight is important though, because now we've got map space, and we should be going scouted here, because again, when they're coming back from spawn, you've got our ability to path around and get a good angle here. So we'll see how much value you get out of this Blade. Okay. I don't hate that cycle. I don't fully hate it. Okay. Watch this play first before I say anything. Okay. Okay, so we'll go back a little bit, right, and we'll sort of go through the very beginning, right? So I guess the first thing here is, why go onto this Farah?
I was thinking that if I got an early pick before the fight really started, would have an advantage. Right. So I was trying to dash onto it and trying to make her kill herself, but it didn't really work.
Right. So what's the issue with doing this play? What does going in early here with both your cooldowns mean for your value later into the fight? Why is it problematic doing this?
I'll probably lose the health, and I'll be down at least at the deflect even if I get the kill, which means I'll probably have less useful to survive later on.
Exactly, right? And when you're playing for Blade here, right, which should be your win condition, we're using RH people and both our cooldowns, meaning the setup for our Blade is going to be completely ass, or it's going to be terrible, right? So this is kind of, I guess, the point here, which is A, getting the kill into the Farah here isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, if you're down ultimates, or if you haven't got Blade here, sure, I don't mind going for this, right? That would kind of make sense. And we're trying to go for this play. I need to make a play happen because, hey, we're gonna lose if we take this fight normally. Sure, I can get that kind of line of thinking, right? But when we have Blade, why would we ever do that? We're just shooting ourselves in the foot, you know? It's like that image or the meme of that guy in the bicycle who puts a stick in his wheel and then falls over, and it's like, oh shit, what happened? You know, like we're sabotaging ourselves basically by going onto the fire really early, and we have Blade. So it's not really a surprise later on that we can't connect onto a target. I like using the word connect when it comes to Blade, because obviously you would love to connect onto the Kiriko or onto the Mercy. And Mercy's got Valkyrie, obviously, right? But probably onto the Kiriko when Blade comes out. This really early engage kind of makes no sense, right? Secondly, that Farah should have dash, right? There's no possible way, even if you didn't have Blade here, right? I kind of had leniency for going for this kind of play if you didn't have Blade, and I think again I'd still stand by that. But secondly, Farah should have a dash, right? Farah should not be dying here to you engaging onto her, right? Again, you would need insane mechanics to get this play and to make this play work. And sure, maybe some Genji player that's extremely experienced that does the little dash combo into the Farah, gets that kill, deflects out, and gets that free kill for no cost, right? But in principle, the Farah should live this because she's got horizontal dash, right? So that kind of thing there is also important to note. So it's really this, again, really ego play that looks super, super, super greedy, that looks unwarranted too, that sort of puts, that sort of handicaps your ability or your value later into the fight. Because in actuality, you're actually on a decent angle here, to be fair. I think, again, your angle is pretty good here. You got Mega here, in case you get poked out. They can't really force you out from this angle. And actually, if I just put the camera here, and we press play, and we're staying here, we're poking, right? Wait for the queen to drop. Right? Like, you can dash onto the Kiriko, force TP, then you pop the blade, you refresh your dash, then you can chase the Kiriko with your blade, obviously, right? You've got 2 dashes. So, that would have been great with how that fight could have panned out too. I wouldn't have also minded if you wanted the blade and then just slash, or just not use a dash at all. If you wanted to just blade onto the Kiriko and then just force a TP, then you can chase with the dash, that's fine as well. I'm also fine with you using the blade and just slashing at the Reaper or onto the Queen, just putting as much frontline pressure onto these 2 targets as possible. I'm okay with that too, right? The point here being is that you've got options when you're playing here, right? Again, you can engage into Kiriko's probably the most sensible thing to do here, and then popping blade after you force TP, that's fine. But again, you just have more awareness of what you want to do. Whereas here, your options are fairly limited, right? And now Kiriko just leaves you. There we go. Now we're doing nothing, right? And yeah, and then to ask ourselves, okay, what did we do that fight, right? We didn't really do that much, right? We bladed and we forced TP. And Suzu. That's basically it. Not much is the answer to what we did there. And now, with like no ultimates, like winning this neutral is going to be really, really, really tough. You're on Hog too, so the touch is going to be bad, you get staggered out too, and then that's going to be, once there's no point in watching the last fight here, because it's just, you have to touch it, well, the team's dead. So yeah. Alright, we'll see this defense so quickly. But the main things that, I guess, from that attack was your pathing, or the lack thereof, when it came to even that fight there, right, where we had good pathing, but we just wasted it, or we just gave up our staging for no real reason. The really aggressive and egregious blade, or the nano boost rather, when we had nano boosted, we had it in a 5v4, we just peaked for no reason, and then also not fighting from distance, right? Again, outmaneuvering the enemy team and using our mobility instead of, again, peaking a damage boosted Torbjorn and getting tunneled by its heart, essentially, right? Were the key 3 things from that round. We'll see how this goes, because now you can technically first hold them, but again, judging by time, 2 minutes, you do lose this eventually. But we'll see. Okay. Alright. Fine. Yeah, I'm actually okay with this angle here, right? Again, they can't really force you out. You got good cover usage. Yeah, I'm okay with this angle. Yamaga dies, not great. We'll back this up a bit. Okay. Slow down a little bit. Okay, no Suzu. Yamaga dies. Not much you can do about that. You do hit some nice shots onto the Hanzo. I'm fine with this. Right, now this looks bad, right? Because I could say, oh, just why would you do this? Right, you don't get the kill. But with better mechanics, which is reasonable to have, right? Because you just missed the, I think you missed the initial shuriken onto the Hanzo here. Yeah, you missed like this fan of shurikens misses, right? If you just hit this fan of shurikens, you get the kill, and we move on with our day. We get the dash reset, and then we just dash out, right? So, yeah, this dash engage is fine. I'm gonna complain about it. We just missed our final shurikens there, sadly. Okay. Sure. Fine. Thankfully our search carries. Okay. Sure. Playing is fine. Okay, we're just scouting a little bit, sure. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, so what? How do I say it? How do I phrase it? Where should you be playing?
I think the high ground was actually a better position than dropping down here.
Right. So the question really is, what causes you, or why do you go cart here in front of the pharmacy and in front of the queen?
I think I was trying to like go wrap around in the small room and see if I could get a kill. But then when I got down, the queen was there, and then I was like in an awkward position.
Right. So when you say wrap around, right, I assume what you mean is doing this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, this relates back into pathing again, because what's the issue with moving from point A to point B?
Walk in front of the whole enemy.
Yes, right.
Fire.
This section here basically is the big issue. And again, you're looking at the enemy team, right? What does the enemy team want to do? Well, they want to stop you or prevent you from being able to reach the Kiriko to begin with, which is why pathing around or pathing in such a way where it's hard for the enemy team to do that is probably the most important thing against the enemy team, right? Of course, against a bad team, you probably have experience to where, hey, maybe this queen just misses her shots, right? And then you're able to go into Kiriko eventually, and then you kill the Kiriko, you force Suzu, you force TP, you get a good engage, right? Probably happened to you a lot, right? In higher elo, I'd be more than expecting good players to force you out while you're actually doing this kind of play, right? Or you're just rotating out in open space like this. And frankly, the Kiriko here as well should also be shooting you, not to mention. But that's, again, just emphasizes the points. So what can we do instead? You kind of mentioned it earlier, but what can we do instead?
I think we could like go around from where my Anna is standing and then go around that way and wrap around onto the kitty.
Yeah, this is great, right? Like this path thing, like notice how much better this is, right? Because again here, you avoid the queen and she can't force you out as easily, right? It's just that small difference makes a world of change when it comes to living this fight, you know, and reaching the Kiriko. And in fact, maybe you could even watch the stop down a little bit. And you go 0.75 here. Watch the stop down. Right. And maybe the queen's a little bit of a concern here. But the point being is that we're more able, we've got more options here. We're more able to go into Kiri from the get-go. And if we were here, right, of course we can still poke up the Kiriko from this angle with both our supports. And again, we can also wrap around to the right side and match out the Reaper too, right? So we've got multiple options here. We can actually punish Kiriko if we so please. Probably not the case to do here because, again, she's probably got Suzu and your Malga's far away, obviously. Or, more likely, we can wrap around here and match up the Reaper and play for space, which is also really important to do as well, to match up the Reaper, make sure he can't reach our backline, etc. So, again, your options there would have been way better compared to, again, just trying to path through here, getting stopped by Queen, and then getting all your CDs forced out by Queen too. And I've also got a saying, bad positioning will force bad cooldowns. So, in other words, you're forced to use your cooldowns because you're in a bad position out in front of the queen. Saying that I normally have. I normally give it to tank players, but it applies here as well in Genji too. But yeah. There is another option here. Which is to actually just stay here and not flank around and actually just stay in this room, right? Why might staying in this room be fine, do you think?
Well, I mean, it's in a high ground position, and I'm a bit more enclosed from the poke that's coming from the Pharaoh.
Yeah, right. So the enemy team, especially the Pharaohs, is an important part here, right? But the enemy team in general, they can't really force you out if you're here. Right, Farah can't because I mean she literally just can't, right? Just from main. Only Reaper can. And even then, if Reaper wants to TP up to you and match you, I think you're fine with that. You can just headshot him when he TPs. You can match him out with deflect here too. Honor can also help you here as well. Like if you really need help, you can back off with deflect and get help by your supports. Right, so you can match up the Reaper, and I think it'll be completely fine, to be honest. I think you're happy taking that trade. And that's worst case scenario, right? Best case scenario is that you stay here. You just shoot the queen from behind. She can't do shit about you because you're too far away. And then, of course, we can play it here. We can play here. But then, of course, right, if you can stay on this angle, you can reach the Kiri, or you can reach the Reaper, or you can reach, even here, right? Again, you can drop down and then start reaching the Kiriko if you was to stay here, right? So you've got more options again to reach the backline by having good pathing or good staging. And that the reason why this is good is, again, no one can force you out, right? Or the people that can force you out have to take risks to do so. I call this stuff like aggressive, but aggressive but safe positioning. But this is aggressive, right? We're on a good angle here, but it's actually safe because again we can't really be forced out. And normally, again, this is really good to do when you're against comps that can't, against the mobile comps that again struggle to force you out. If you're playing Tracer here, I'm gonna say a similar thing. In fact, I'd even say deepening your angle here would be even better. But yeah, okay. Okay, and we just dash into, not only do we dash into a Reaper during TP, we also dash into a Pharmacy as well, and then of course, we die first, which is not great. Okay. Again, that's all that was, which is a pathing issue. That's literally all that was. Is that we just didn't have the, I guess awareness is one way you could say it, but we didn't have the I guess, foresight to path in a way where we can avoid the Queen, we can avoid the Reaper in this way, or in this way, right? Again, playing positions where it's hard for the enemy team to force us out. That's simple, right? That's all it requires.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay, we'll see here, which looks like it's last fight territory. Probably is. Okay. 1x this. Okay. Okay. Don't get forced out here. Oh, I really don't like this. So like, I don't feel it. So, again, I mentioned earlier, right, about not fighting, right? This is the prime time to not fight the Pharaoh, right? Why do you think it's not a good idea to fight the Pharaoh? Not just the Pharaoh, right, but the enemy team.
Well, at this point, I'll be the only one who's going in, so I just kill myself basically.
Yeah, right. And what can you foresee happening if you walk forward here and you do try and fight the enemy team? What do you think is gonna happen?
I'll probably waste my cooldowns and I'll die, and then have an easier time to win.
Right. So you're again, best case scenario is that you probably have to get your dash forced out and you dash back to high grounds. Best case scenario. Worst case is that you die. So we'll see what happens, right? But when I see this, right, again, the enemy team want to stop you in your tracks, right? They see you out in open space. They want to stop you right now and stop you from being able to outmaneuver the enemy team, right? This is what they want. They want to stop you right now. So again, don't fight this, right? Just play back here, chill, just chill, right? You can even go here if you want to as well, right? Again, I wouldn't fully recommend this because the Kiri can force you out, but not just the Kiri as well. But the enemy team can have the time to just turn around and force you out here. Again, it's not terrible. It's better than, again, fighting the Pharaoh straight up, right? So I don't mind walking into this room and playing, it's keying out and playing behind them, or playing this back angle here. That's fine as well. But don't fight this, right? What I don't want to see is you ego this. Okay, so we get the Pharaoh kill, right? Again, we just deflect in front of the enemy team. We punish the Pharaoh. There'll be moments in the game where on paper you'll do something that shouldn't work, but because you're in a certain elo, i.e. in this elo here, it will end up working or panning out, which is what ends up happening here. So yeah, of course, the Pharaoh, I don't know why she just doesn't play. Again, a better Pharaoh here, right? We'll just play back on this angle, get the mini, and play in an angle where you can't really die for, right? Down this angle. So, on her, really. So, I guess, in this case, because she feeds, sure, you can go for the kill, fine. Whatever the case may be. Of course, ideally, I wouldn't want you to fight this against a better Pharaoh. Okay? Okay, we'll go back here a little bit. Because this is a good angle, right? This is a nice rotation, right? Again, we're pushing back on that scale, right, between doing nothing and inting. This is pushing our advantage, right, in a nice way. What's the issue about taking this angle, though?
I think it might be a bit too close here.
Yeah,
So
right?
it'd be easier for the tank to punish me.
Yeah, so just poke. That's it, right? Just poke. We haven't got deflector. That's fine, right? Look at the enemy team. They're all stacked down main. You have the map advantage. And frankly, Queen's walking away. She doesn't want any of your smoke at all, right? When would it be okay, conversely then, right? When would it be okay to play closer or to play as close as you are right now?
Maybe if their tank was distracted, so if they were fighting my tank.
Sure. What about your tank as well, right? What could your tank be doing that causes you to walk a bit closer?
If he pushed up, I'll probably push up too.
Exactly, right? If you're Malga, where's your Malga right now? He's far away, right? If your Malga's literally right here in kissing distance, beaming the Queen and the Reaper, or if your Malga's running through, so a good Malga, what you can do maybe is stop engage. You can stop from here, run around, end the stop somewhere around here, and end the stop somewhere around here. Then sure, I don't mind walking up there, right? If your Malga's creating space, sure, pull up with him, that makes sense, right? But again, here, you're in a 5v4, right? You've got a free pick, I don't want you not just dying, but also not getting forced out, because you are on a good angle here. This is a good angle. A bit sad to see there. Okay. Where could he go to from here?
I could go right into the small room.
Right, why here?
Yeah, and then poke from the window right there. Maybe.
Yeah, right. Again, we can't really be forced out again, right? But again, we get a better angle, and we're pathing in a way that allows us or gets us ready to access their backline, right? So this would be quite nice. What we do here. Okay, left side's fine too. Yeah, this is also fine as well. Yeah, we're pathing other mines as well. This is okay. Fine. Okay. So this is just micro, right? So I know the Kitsune is out right now. So what are your two options here? Once the Kitsune and the Valkyrie are out.
My plan here was just to like regroup with my team, go back with them.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't think I could do anything here.
Yeah. So don't fight this again. Right, you're down an advantage. Don't just S-key out, right? Don't fight the Kiriko. Both supporters are out right now, you know? Like maybe if your Malgo's stomping in, then sure, I could say dash in onto the Kiriko, walk climb out, right? Chillax, play slow, play your angle, right? Wait for one of your supports to use an ultimate, wait for your team to use an ultimate, something like that to happen, right? Because why would you dash when you're clearly at disadvantage because you've got Kitsune and Valkyrie, you know? So you just get poked out by Kiri. And now, how we just S-keyed out, and now, when your team's windowing, OCing, and nano boosting, then we can go into the Kiriko, because there's distractions of your soldier's literally a distraction, right? And look at this, right? Your soldier's going in, while you're going out. And then why are we going out? Because we got prevented, we got disrupted. Our engage got disrupted against the Kitsune and the Valkyrie, right? So again, our timing there is just off, right? And because we're egoing into a Kiriko when we've got Kitsune and Valkyrie down. And when we've got no ultimates going off as well. So again, that not fight idea is really important. Because even if you don't die, not fighting an angle means that you can keep your CDs, right? And your HP pool, not to mention. But there we go, we got a dash forced out, and we got poked up by Kiri, so we can't engage. Okay? Okay. And yeah, again, it's pretty much over at this point, so yeah. And again, we did nothing that fight, right? Why did we do nothing? Because our entire get engaged got prevented by 2 Kiri kunais, you know? That's literally just it. We could have just avoided this kunais by just playing cover. But yeah. Okay. And that's gonna be that round there. Okay. We'll look at the second code. Paste that. Paste. So, what's up with this code in particular?
This one is just the second half. So the most of the game, I feel like I was playing like pretty well.
Okay.
But then around the second point in the second half, so after we captured the first point, we just got full hold basically, and yeah.
Yeah. So like this always happens. So I'll preface this by saying, don't feel too bad for escort maps on their second points. So like Icon Ward, or hybrid maps as well, I'd be saying, not escort. But Icon Ward second point attack, really not fun. Rialto, second point attack, really not fun. Hollywood, second point attack, really not fun. Desert World, second point attack, really not fun. There's a common theme. Most second point attacks on escorts or hybrids are really not fun. And they're heavily defender favorites. Hollywood and Icon Ward are the worst cases, so don't feel too bad for getting held because a lot of players do. But yeah, we'll see what pans out. We can even skip to the bit where you cap first. There we go. First point, roll. We go. Boom. Alright. Okay. Alright. So again, the comp's a bit different here, right? But again, still kind of same idea. But again, we don't want to be getting prevented by the Ashe Dynamites or Winston on an angle or Genji getting mashed out or would us stealing a Moira, right? We don't want to get our engage prevented here entirely. We do want to reach the Ashe eventually. So we'll see what happens. There is a thing as well where in team play, your team might want to push high ground here because while you push cart, because you're mobile, you can leave cart at any time, whereas every other person on your team can't really do that. I mean, your Kyoko can, right? But your Kyoko's kind of vulnerable and needs help her Orisa, obviously. So you might just be pushing cart the entire time here. Your Kyoko goes carts. Interesting. Yeah. So if this happens, I would leave carts. Right. Again, this is ranked. This is not going to be perfect, but I would leave cart right now. You know, push up because you don't need to be having two people on cart here. There's lost value here essentially, right? I mean, why do you say cart when you see your Kyoko go on? Why do you say cart?
So I was just thinking that maybe we could get a bit more distance.
Yeah, right. The difference that you get from two people on cart is fairly negligible. It only really matters when you're trying to, like on King's second point attack, for example, you're trying to stop them from getting a close touch or put pressure on time-wise. Then that makes sense. But here, of course, like you're just missing out on poker the entire time. Like, there's a big opportunity cost, in other words, for you being on cart here while your Kyoko's on cart. Is that hey, we could be following up this blade the entire time. And we could be holding the high ground the entire time and make it easier for Orisa to hold the high grounds the entire time. But yeah, by us starting cart, we're not really doing any of those things, sadly. Okay. Reaper Winston, that'd be great. There we go. Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. Sure. But even this, right? Like, notice how again the Ashe just doesn't look at us, right? But in actuality, right, like this is bad for us, right? Like if Ashe is just slightly more aware, she gets one or two body shots onto us, and then what do? Right, then we dash out and deflect out, right? And that's all down to pathing about where our angle's playing from, right? This entire time when you were on carts, we could have either been standing up here, poking up the high grounds, pathing with my Orisa, and trying to get an engage onto any of these targets, or we could have been pathing underneath the high ground and playing underneath here, and trying to get a good engage by going onto the Ashe like this, and pathing around like this, basically. Coming around like this. You could even be even more creative than this, potentially, and go through, like, get on this little ledge here, come up the high ground like this, for example, right? Pathing, again, is really just the important factor here, and you had time to do this. You are on cart the entire time. There's no excuse for not doing this. But sadly, again, because we're on carts, it jeopardizes our value in the mid fight because all we can do here is just poke a Winston. Because that's all we've been allowed to do here essentially. So it's not terrible. But again, it's not exactly what our character's built for. Okay, sure. Fine, nice. Sure. Thankfully, Ashe flies a bit too close to the sun there. We catch Ashe. Okay. Okay. Sure. So we'll look at that again, but I'll want to watch a little bit more first. Okay, okay. Cool. Alright, I do want to see that after you kill the Ashe here. Yeah, after you, yeah, Ashe is dead right now. After you kill Ashe, what should you do? Practically. Like, you're in the situation right now, what should you be doing? Or what should you do after you kill the Ashe?
I could probably wrap around again and try and get another angle to maybe
right?
kill again.
So again, I guess this is partially the important thing, which is again, look around you, because I don't know where anyone's at, you don't know where anyone's at, and in this game, you certainly don't know where anyone's at, right? So it's easy for me to say, oh, let's just wrap around, you know? We can put the overlay on, and we could be like, oh, in hindsight, it would have been obvious to wrap around on Ana, right? And sure, right? Fair enough. But I guess the key point is that we need to look around and scout so we are able to know that Ana is here to begin with, right? Again, I mentioned this on the last map here, right? About regaining awareness in the mid fight. This is the perfect time to do so, right? Again, had we known that Ana's on low grounds, we would probably go into Ana. And yeah, I think it would make sense to go into Ana when she's alone. But yeah. Let's say we just give up, we just give up the high ground for no reason, right? And now we're not even poking up the Winston, you know? So it would have just been nice to just stand up here, poke out Winston, double jump a little bit, try and play a wider angle, and just see where people are at. That's simple, you know? Nothing that complicated there. And again, had we done that, we keep our position. We haven't got to dash away from our single Moira. Like, just force our dash entirely, and we lose our entire space from practically nothing there, right? And again, the entire time we could have just freest kill in the universe, right? Had we known that Ana was there, and had we just regained awareness during the mid fight, really important. But yeah, of course here you end up killing the Winston. He jumps up in the bubble, so he's clever. But yeah, really important. Okay, let's see here. Okay, again, pathing, right? Where should we go after we kill the Winston?
I could either go like behind the jail building, or I could go to the left from here.
Right? Can the Ash stop you in any shape or form if you path like this?
No.
No, right? But I mean, again, top down shows his best, right? Oh, Ash can see me. She's going to shoot me. But of course, if you're here, you can't really do that, right? So again, the pathing is it's just so important again. Because we get our engage prevented by a single dynamite, you know? And it's really sad because it's so preventable. We could have just pathed here and gotten a way better angle and not gone prevented the entire time. If you want to be even more sneaky, this is fine as well. You could come on the left side here, that's fine. You could come in this building here and then come over here and be a little bit more sneaky, right? That's fine. But the point being is that our pathing is just so bad because it's down there, it's down main, right? Like, we've got Blade, we want to get a good Blade, obviously, right? We want to connect onto their backline. But if they're actually dynamiting us from main, we can't do that, obviously, right? She's stopping our engage before it even happens. They're really not great. Now we do it, thankfully. Of course, we're down deflector. Oh boy. Right, and like, sure, you kill the Ana, right? But again, this engagement scuffed the entire time. Because we haven't got deflected. We could have got slipped by Ana the entire time there. And actually, I would have gone straight. Why not go for Ash?
I think it was just, more of a panic thing I did because I missed my dash. Like I hit the box. And when I played it, I just looked the other way and I couldn't really find Ash anymore.
Right. I mean, again, that's a bit confusing to me considering that, again, you force coachingg, right? And coaching's the big CD with Ash, right? Like, no coachingg, he's isolated. Both of us supports her in this direction, right? Now, I don't mind looking behind, again, regaining awareness, right? This is completely fine. I don't mind regaining awareness to see where the supports are playing. To look behind and be like, oh, okay, Ash can't get help here because her Moira and her Ana are literally split from the Ash, right? I find looking around is fine. I would have expected after you look around, big ass Blade here. I would have expected after looking around to just turn and go for Ash, right? But yeah, I guess a little bit of how do I say it? Not panicking, so to say. I talk about this with Tracer a lot. But when you stop panicking, all your micro goes out the window. And here, when you're going to Ana, of course, she can sleep dart you. And even more important, when you haven't got deflect. But yeah. If that's a better Ana player, you get slept and die. Someone die here anyway, so you literally just die there anyways, right? And again, for the billionth time, you're in a 5v4. Chillax, right? Again, the same. How many times have you just seen you feed in a 5v4, you know? Like, again, just regain awareness. Just play slow, chillax a little bit. Look at the enemy team. Don't dash in immediately, right? You're not proper, you know? chillax and wait for a moment, right? And then you would have seen, oh shit, Ash is too far away, they're full HP. If I dash in, I'm gonna feed, right? And of course, coalescence, you can't deflect that. So you would have chilled out probably and played by these boxes here. You could have even gone around here again, right? You could even path the left side again, you know, and sit up and go for that wraparound. But yeah, not great. Really preventable, really preventable. And look at this, you know, like you could have literally just came around here, came from the back end, and I guarantee you, no one on the enemy team is expecting you to wrap around here and connect into the Genji from behind, and no one on the enemy team is expecting that. But yeah, really unfortunate. Again, relax. All right. And in fact, at this point, I would be saying alarm bells need to be ringing in your head after you get a kill, because frankly, we've seen so many occasions where you get a kill or you're at 5v4 and you throw that advantage away really quickly. So yeah, I think again, in fact, I used to coach a team, and it was kind of ridiculous because we would lose 5v4s all the time. So what we did as a team is that once we saw someone get a kill feeder, and we made it a 5v4, pretty much everyone on the team would shout stabilize. And now obviously stabilizing implies to play slow and chillax and stabilize and get your resources back, is what stabilize means. And it kind of became a running joke because people would say it without fully meaning it, or people would say it without needing to stabilize, right? Maybe we just got a free kill because our surgeon hit a headshot and we could push that, but instead of stabilizing. But the point being is that, at least for you, every single time you go on a kill, you've fed your brains out pretty much afterwards, right? And again, how you just lived there, there's a real chance you could actually win that fight. But yeah, really unfortunate. Okay, we'll see here. Okay, wait for Orisa, sure. Fine. Okay. Again, I don't think it's necessary to do this. Like, you can just, again, you can path around, right? Again, you can just path while Orisa's coming back, right? But nothing crazy. Okay, wrong person. Okay. Alright. Sure. Okay, yeah, so what's the issue here?
I think I'm getting like hit from both sides. So if I look at Murad be killed by Ash, and the same opposite.
Right, so again, we just need more time with, again, our pathing, right? Because if we're Ash on our POV, right, she wants this. She wants you to piss off and poke Winston and play this, right? She does not want you on top of her in any situation. Now, what does the Ash not want? Right, well, maybe if you came around, like maybe again, you could even spend time. Let me just go here, dashing from point A to point B. Maybe you come underneath, force cart a little bit, and then maybe you come up the top and dash onto Honor or dash onto Ash here. That would be great, right? You want to path in a way that again makes it hard for the Ash to dynamite you or to prevent you, right? Is the important thing. But here, you're making it so easy, right? Because you're coming out in open space from 30 meters away, right? So of course Ash is gonna shoot you. So even though you could have maybe gone up here a little bit, right? Maybe shot the Winston here a little bit, right? But the point stands still, or the point stands the same, right? The point being is that we're playing Pokédex against an Ash the entire time, right? Now maybe I would be more okay. Let's say, for example, you came around here. Maybe sure. Maybe you want to be like, oh, I want to play for my surgeon. I want to play for my Kiriko. I'm gonna break bubble for my team first. Then I'm gonna path around and try and reach the Ash, right? Then I could be like, okay, makes sense. Right? Maybe we want to break bubble first. Maybe we want to get our Surge Mercy in a good position first. Sure, right? I don't mind that. We can break bubble a little bit, play a little bit slow, and then once this guy jumps away, then we can start deepening our angle from here, right? Then that makes sense. That'll be fine too. I've got no complaints about that. But this is again worst of both worlds, where we're trying to poke out the Winston while being in front of the Ash and the Ana as well. So no wonder to me that you die here. Yeah, not really. I'm not that confusing to me. That's all. And if it helps, I've got like a 3-step framework into dive comps, which is called, it's 4 steps, right? I call it SPAR. Stands for scouts, prevent, absorb, and rotates. You can forget scout for now. Simplify things. But prevention is literally what the Ashe is doing to you, right? Preventing, and I mentioned it multiple times, preventing the enemy team from engaging to begin with, right? At least for your team, at least for your Sojourn and your Mercy, and your Kiriko too, it's preventing or stopping the Winston and the Genji from getting on top of them to begin with, right? And your Riz is kind of doing that. Your Riz is really good at preventing. He's preventing the Winston by stuffing the Winston and boarding her up close, right? And as a result, she falls his bubble. Nice, right? Of course, that leads onto the second stage about absorbing the dive. In this case, it's just, can my team absorb Winston bubble? Right? And in that case, there mostly they did, right? Your Sojourn was far away, your Orisa falls bubble, right? While your backline's playing far away, that's fine, right? And then after you've absorbed that big dive cooldown, in this case that bubble, and the Winston jumps away, then you can rotate, right? And this is where your character really comes into play, where you can deepen your angle once the Winston gives you space. But yeah, and I kind of mentioned that there, where you can force bubble, like he's jumping away, right? And then we can deepen our angle. But yeah. Okay. We'll do a quick summary on this wall, because I think the key things to work on, and I'll answer any questions you may have as well. But yeah. Alright, we'll do a quick summary. I think the easiest thing to work on by far is what happens when we're in a 5v. And normally this happens during Blade as well. Normally. Because normally we get a kill during Blade, and then we just feed. Or some ults, nano boost as well. Again, we gain awareness / look around. Right? Really, like, again, it's such a simple thing, because honestly, like, it's not even mechanical. You're not having to do some crazy mechanical play. It's all it is in fact not doing something is kind of what it is, right? It's like you're spending time to not do anything and to just look around and see what you can go on, right? Where you can path, where you can flank, right? Again, some examples. Again, what this could have done here, you could have wrapped onto the Ana earlier. Wrapped Ana. Had you done this, and would have prevented multiple deaths. Again, the thing that the key one was that Shambali nano fight on attack. It was really pivotal. Okay. Second thing has to be pathing. Has to be pathing. In terms of, like, we're getting poked out way too early. So the examples I'm thinking of at this point is that Torb fight, the Torb Mercy on Shambali, where we died, and what else? Oh yeah, the Ashe, literally the Ashe as well, on Volley second, and what else at this point as well? I'll couple in not fighting. Well, oh yeah, the Farah on first point defense on Shambali. I'll couple in the Farah and the Queen as well. And a couple on this point about not fighting. Slash getting forced out. As a key video that I'll link to you right now. Let me just go find it. But it elaborates on this idea, or it shows off this idea quite nicely. Maybe you've seen load, and I can just share, and hopefully you can see the parallels, from this video onto your own play, and see about some of the stuff that I've been saying as well. But that was a very good video on pathing on Genji. And the third thing, I mean, we could talk about micro. I think, how do I say it? Of course, we don't look at too much of your micro, like your wall climb micro or your deflect micro. I think the one thing I'll say, I mean, I guess I'll say, like, knowing when to play slow or play slower, which links into the previous 2 points. So I'm thinking about that last fight on Shambali, where they both have their ults. They both have their ults out right now, where they do pop Kasune and Valkyrie. I'm also thinking about that fight where you got forced out by Queen. When that you got that far a kill. And then what else? Think in my head. I'll say, because honestly, your mechanics on Genji are more than fine. Like I mean, there's one fight where you missed on Hanzo, and but that's just again that's one fight. Mechanics are more than fine. It's really just everything. The first 2 points are really really important because it's about putting yourself in positions to where you're able to get value out of your good mechanics. And a lot of the time, you're not doing that. You're getting forced up by Ashe and Winston in this game. And last game, it was Torbjorn and Queen a lot of the time. I'll also mention this as well. It's one point that I literally just left my mind. I'm thinking. Okay, it's kind of lost my mind at this point in time, but probably means that it wasn't that important. There's a little bit extra bit here about that blade stuff, like again the blade maximization, blade maxing. Thinking about that Shambali attack. Well, again, we can just play slow, right? We can be a little bit more patient and a little bit less kill hungry, and play for our blade a lot more. And of course, we could have probably gotten that Kiriko potentially afterwards. Those are the key 3 points. Any questions, queries, clarifications, things like that?
No, not really.
Good, cool. I'll